business trip.
Did the people move around?
It does tingle a little bit. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is top 3 time. If you're new here, I'm Matt with the DPI podcast. Over on the other screen, that guy over there, I have to point it out that way, is Peter Salvadori with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel. You can check out all of our social media accounts below us. Go over, like, subscribe, do all those fun things. It really helps out all of the channels. If you're new to top 3, what we do is we select a random category and we get like 20 seconds and we come up with our top 3 for that random category. If you have any motion sickness issues, Peter's camera is not the one to look at tonight because apparently his tripod is not safe.
I forgot on my trip. Oh my god, I went to Fantasmic and the new show is remarkable. Okay, that's all.
If you're wondering where that came from, go watch the news section from earlier. So let's go ahead and let's get into the top 3. Let's pick out a chip. Let's go from there. Chip number 24. I feel like 24 has come up here recently, so it's probably going to be a relatively new category. Chip number 24 is... this is a very interesting one, because this happens quite a bit at Walt Disney World. The top 3 ways to spend a rainy day at the parks.
I have to be at the parks?
You can be wherever. Let's just say at Walt Disney World Resort.
Okay. Top 3 ways to spend a rainy day.
Top 3 ways to spend a rainy day. Let's go.
Planning your first trip and getting overwhelmed by all the details? Planning your next trip and just want some new suggestions on things you haven't tried? Contact me at Princess and the Mouse Travel, and I'd love to work with you planning your next trip to the most magical place on earth.
You can contact Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel on Facebook at PATM Disney Travel. All right, top 3 ways to spend a rainy day. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Who are you typing to? What you doing? What you doing?
I am putting it up in the chat.
To see what viewers think.
Yes.
Sure. No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
All right.
I wrote down like 5 things real quick, so even if you steal mine, it's fine.
Yeah. So my number 1 is actually being in the parks.
Whoa, wait. It's number 3, sir.
My number 3. My first one. My number 3 is actually going to be able to spend it in the parks, especially Magic Kingdom, because Magic Kingdom runs a special parade on rainy days called the Rainy Day Parade. And it's a really cool parade where most of the cast members are in rain jackets, and they've got some unique vehicles, and the characters are all undercover. And you get this, it's kind of a mix between one of the cavalcades and a full type parade feel. It's a little bit longer than a cavalcade, a little bit shorter than the full parades. But it gives you something cool in the parks that you can actually do and just hang out in Magic Kingdom. I mean, it's just one of those cool things that only happens when it rains. And, you know, a lot of people don't even think about, oh, let's just go stand outside and watch this, because it's the alternative if Festival of Fantasy can't go off that day, if it's raining too much. So my number 3 is going to be hang out at Walt Disney World, watch the Rainy Day Parade. Peter, what's your number 3?
I recorded the Rainy Day Cavalcade. Do we have that posted somewhere?
I don't know. I know I've got it recorded as well.
Yeah, something to look into. Anyway, so I am going to go with my number 3, and I'm going to make that something that I like to do is I preemptively kind of plan ahead for the rain. So, you know, especially right now during the summer, there's a very good chance that a pop-up thunderstorm will happen at some point in the day, but it normally happens between the hours of 1 and 4. And so one of the things that I like to do when I'm planning my Disney trips is I like to make a sit-down reservation somewhere around 1 or 2 p.m. and kind of watch the weather forecast as it rolls in. And if I have to be at my 2 o'clock dining reservation and just really drag it out and order another drink and say, yes, we want to do dessert, but give us about 10 minutes for the food to settle. I have waited out many a storm by being at a sit-down restaurant and just kind of shuffling my feet and waiting it out a little bit. And that just comes with knowledge of the time of year that you're going. Like I said, especially now, very, very likely that you're going to get a middle-of-the-day thunderstorm. So if you have that pre-planned with some dining, that can be a great way to pass a thunderstorm because they're typically short-lived, 45 minutes, maybe an hour and a half, a way to just grab food, sit down, take a load off, and then keep yourself relatively dry while you're doing it. So my number 3 thing to do is plan my dining around the storms.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I mean, and that's one thing that when you reach out to an agent like Peter, he's really going to explain that really well on, hey, you're going down there May, June, July, August. You're probably going to get these pop-up storms. Why don't you do that a little bit later?
Don't even mention September or October. Hurricanes.
All right. Let's go ahead. Let's get into our number 2 here. Choice number 2. All right. So my number 2 is I like to kind of resort hop on the monorail. So, you can go in, make a reservation at one of the monorail resorts for a breakfast or something, and then you can spend time just going from resort to resort and going into the unique shops that they have there, hitting up some of the unique cafes that they have there, and just checking out some of the different things that are going on in each of those resorts. If you're there around the holidays, you've got the gingerbread house at the Grand Floridian, you've got the big Christmas tree at the Contemporary, the Polynesian always has some really cool decorations, so there's a lot of cool things that you can do around that monorail loop. And then even if you're not there around the holidays, you've got basically 15 restaurants that you can make reservations at and just ride the monorail around and just hang out and just make your days there. So my number 2 is relatively simple, is just hang out at the monorail resorts and just resort hop for a little while. Peter, what are you going to for your number 2?
I am going to point out a very common fact. In every park, the vast majority of rides are either completely enclosed in a building or the queue system is completely enclosed in a building. And so one thing to do if you see something coming in and it's about to happen is there's a 60-minute wait for a really good ride that's enclosed inside. Go jump in line for it because the queue is likely undercover, the ride is indoors, and the next thing you know, I can't tell you how many indoor rides I've gotten in the line as the sky looked a little bit funky, gotten out, and the tarmac is completely wet, but I am still bone dry because the little pop-up storm happened right I saw it coming and, again, worked ahead of it and went and did that. And so a lot of the things you do in Disney World, even if it's projected to rain all day long, even thunderstorm all day long, if you strategically move around, many of the rides and queues are indoors where you can kind of hop from place to place and still enjoy your day.
Yes, very much so. Always give yourself options on those rides. So, one of my favorites to do that with is Soarin'. You go into the Land Pavilion, you can do the movie that they've got in there.
Living with the Land, get lunch with the Seasons.
Yeah, you've got so much.
Yeah.
So much there that you can do, and you don't have to be one of those people that just hangs in there and just sits down and waits out the storm. Just find a place where that there's a bunch to do and just hang out there. So no, using those ride queues is a huge thing. So yeah, So let's go ahead and let's get into our number one and a couple of things as we're getting into this number one. First off, if you've got any ideas for a top 3 segment, let us know. Either put it in the chat or go over to the website. It's down below us right now, patmdisneytravel.wixsite.com/planning. And up in that top right-hand corner, there is a little text box that you can enter your ideas, and they get emailed to us. And we make shows out of them, so it's pretty awesome. And then, Peter, where can people find you?
Right here at 7:15 most Tuesday nights. Right here. No, to find me on Facebook, just type in Princess and the Mouse Disney Travel. You'll see me standing there. I'm about to update the page this summer with a whole bunch of stuff. I also need to reach out to a bunch of clients and see if I can get some more client reviews on there, because I know when you look at the site, it looks like I planned trips for like 8 people. But the fact of the matter is I have 8 clients here within the next few months. I plan tons and tons of trips for tons and tons of people. So I am happy to help you as well. So Matt and I were kind of talking about that, different business strategies a few weeks ago. And so I look forward to spending the rest of my summer trying to kind of increase a little bit with the site, Facebook, the Wix site, all of that stuff. Just trying to kind of increase the volume a little bit, doing some things differently in my personal life coming up here next school year. And I really want to fill that open time with more conversations with people like you, wanting to go to Disney, wanting to get some help, getting overwhelmed in the process, and getting a very experienced hand on the reservation and making sure that everything happens, answering the questions that you didn't even know you had. Yeah. Like I had an hour-long conversation with a client last night, and I really try to wrap my head around who you and your family are, and then from there I use my vast knowledge. Again, I've eaten at every park, restaurant, including the quick services and all of the sit-downs. I will wrap my head around who you are as a group and get you the things that I know you'll enjoy versus pushing you into things that have big dollar signs.
Yeah. No, sounds good. Yeah, definitely over on Facebook at PATM Disney Travel. That's going to be the best place to reach out to Peter. So for my number one...
My new shirt.
my number one is... It can be a lot of different things. I'm trying to figure out a good way to narrow it down so it doesn't like eat up everything. But
it's okay. You do it, because I have one that you don't have.
Okay, so it is explore an area that you've never gone to. There are so many different little displays and showcases and things that you just walk by and not even know what they are. Like Walt Disney Presents at Hollywood Studios, Star Wars Launch Bay. Even inside each of the pavilions at Epcot, there are good, displays of local goods and local trends. And, like in the China display, there's the building of the Shanghai park. And there's all these really, really cool things that you just walk by on your way to a restaurant or to a ride, that when some of the stuff is just shut down, it's nice to just find some of these other places and just spend some time in them. You can spend a day in Walt Disney Presents. There's
little, so much to read in there.
Yeah, that and it's like 2 hallways is all it is. But
plus
it is
some character meet and greets hiding in there.
Yeah, there's just so much in there. And then the end display always kind of changes depending on what is the newest and biggest thing that's coming. They've had something about the Disney Wish. They had something about Galaxy's Edge. So they've always had some really cool, up-to-date displays as well. So my number one is find a place you've never been and go explore it.
Yeah, that is a really good one, because like you just said, there are tons of things, especially in Epcot World Showcase. It is so easy to hang out on the main thoroughfare, but to really go into the nation and fully dive into what's in there, you will see some really awesome things. You'll learn a lot of really awesome stuff. You'll see some cool things, and everything's got placards with information, backstory, history. It's really, really amazing. And you mentioned two really good places to do that, with Hollywood Studios and Epcot for sure. But that's available, you know, a little bit less at Animal Kingdom, but there are places in Magic Kingdom to find those kind of forgotten treasures as well, for sure. So my number one, I have several things still written here, including go back to the resorts and take a nap, sleep the day away. Like, I'm a big fan of that one. So I'm just thinking to when we were just down there, because there was a thunderstorm that we got back to the resort about 20 minutes before it started, took a nice nap. But I'm going to go with, for my number one, I am going to go with Embrace It. So I always love, like, all the people that, like, throw on all their rain gear and walk around with their own little umbrellas and like all of this stuff. And I had a blast the other night. It was Saturday night. So Saturday night around 6:30, it was clear a weather front was coming in. The lightning was still several hours out. The park closed at 9. And so it looked like it was just going to be lightly to heavily raining for the duration of the park being opened. They had already canceled Fantasmic because you can't have, you know, the performers up on the cliffs with lightning and all of that stuff. And so my wife and I had a choice. We had a choice to either hide under cover, which many people do. They'll go shopping, dining, some of the tips that Matt and I have given you here. We had that choice to just kind of hide away from it or just get out and go. And, you know, it was our last night. And so we chose to just get out and go. I bounty hunted probably 8 people while it was just lightly raining to heavily raining. I had promised my daughter we were going to FaceTime her to ride Slinky Dog Dash with us, and so we waited and rode Slinky Dog Dash with rain just pelting me in the face as I'm holding up a FaceTime call so my daughter could kind of ride it with us. But it was truly fun. It was just fun to just kind of let go, forget the rain gear, forget the fact that it's raining, and just go be a little kid again in a place that is just exuding magical memories. To just also just drop all the pretense of my life is miserable if I'm wet. I mean, I was drenched. I ended up having to pick a different pair of shoes for Sunday because by the time I got back to the resort, I mean, I was just drenched head to foot. But I had so much fun just kind of walking around, having a good time. Just not even like saying it, but without cold, it was rain. Like, the rain doesn't bother me anyway. And just having a good time, just getting soaked. So I would say just embrace it, especially if you're down there with your kids. You think they're going to care getting wet? If you're having a good time getting wet, your kids are going to think it's like the greatest thing in the whole stinking world that mom and dad are jumping in puddles and just skipping to the next thing as it's downpouring. Like, just go have fun.
Yeah, no, that's a great one. Yeah, Shannon chimed in, you know, enjoy the amenities at your resort that you normally wouldn't take time to use. You know, a lot of the resorts offer drawing and crafts and movies and all kinds of different things, dance parties, that kind of stuff. Store hop at Disney Springs, put on a poncho, go to the park, and enjoy the shorter wait times. From Shannon, all good ones. No, I mean, there's again, you don't really get rained out. There'll be things that close. Most of your coasters will shut down if there's lightning in the area. Anything that's outdoors will shut down if there's lightning in the area. But I mean, past that, most things, like Peter said, either have a partially indoor queue or the whole thing's indoor. And most of your rides are indoors as well. So, you know, there's still
They really are. If you talk, like, let's talk about Magic Kingdom real quick. If it is lightning out, the train, Barnstormer, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and the
Jungle Cruise.
Oh my God, it just skipped my mind. The Wildest Ride in the Wilderness, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad.
Yep.
Like, everything else is open. And the Tomorrowland Speedway. Like, tons of stuff is still open, though. You can go ride Pirates, you can go ride Haunted Mansion, you can go ride Peter Pan, Small World.
Space Mountain, Carousel Progress.
Yeah, Monsters Inc. Platform, Buzz Lightyear. I mean, there's some other things that are closed. Little Mermaid's open, but yeah, like Dumbo, the Flying Carpets. I'm pretty sure they would close Jungle Cruise. But tons of stuff is still open. Like, half the attractions are still open or more.
Yeah.
And that's the worst of the parks. Like,
and that's attractions. Then you got all the character meet and greets. So you've got both princess
those are all going to be open.
Tinkerbell, Mickey Mouse, all that kind of stuff still open.
Tinkerbell's gone right now.
What?
I went to go to Tinkerbell because it was raining and we were in Magic Kingdom. So we were on the railroad, and I am not kidding you. I saw the flash, and then a massive thunderclap happened like almost immediately. So that this lightning bolt had to have struck like under a mile away from where we were. While we're on this train and it's downpouring, because I wanted to ride underneath Tron, just to see that leg of the railroad. So we got out. Everybody's running into the station. I went to the exit ramp because I knew that was under a glass cover. And we slowly worked our way through cover into the area where Tony's Town Square restaurant is, because we had to get an embroidered hat for a friend. So we were like, well, perfect. This rain is providing the opportunity to wait for embroidery.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, while we're here, why don't we just go meet Tinkerbell? Just Mickey. So I don't know if it was super gone or if it was just gone on that day, but it was gone on Saturday.
That is mildly disappointing. So
more than mildly, it made our top 3 list for best meet and greets.
Yes. So, all right. Well, that was top 3 things to do on a rainy day at Walt Disney World. If you guys do have any ideas, definitely hit us up on the website, patmdisneytravel.wixsite.com/planning. Or you can just put it in the comments of this video over on Twitch or on YouTube. So thank you guys all for joining us tonight.
Side note, I just went into the app and typed in Tinkerbell, and there is no Meet Tinkerbell listed as a attraction.
That is no good. I'm boycotting until the first weekend of September.
But on the side note, Tinkerbell's Fairy Garden over Epcot is awesome. There's like 8 to 10 different fairy houses around her topiary. It's in the UK pavilion right as you're going up the rise to the bridge to France. I kind of spent some time staring at that. That might be my favorite topiary. Let's do another top 3 right now. Favorite topiaries during Flower and Garden. Ready, go. What's your number 3?
I will replace the one we just did with that, because there are some fantastic topiaries during Flower and Garden. So, all right. Well, Peter, thanks for joining us tonight. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. So, everybody else, thanks for checking us out, watching, listening, everything that you guys do. Have a wonderful week, and we will talk to you next Tuesday. Bye now. Hey, thanks for checking us out today. Don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons to help out the channel. Also, if you're looking for some more Disney content, check this out. I think you're going to like it.